addiction is the only way to cure depression.
Yeah.
Or addiction. Wait.
I was like, I don't agree with that. I was like, whoa.
Connection.
Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ. Hey friends, Christina here for another quick preamble. I am recording this Monday morning, the day before this podcast is scheduled to be released. Lauren and I were unable to record on our usual day this week because I was out of town for a funeral, which I talk a little bit about in this episode you're about to hear. I recorded this conversation with my friend Taylor, who I met in PHP. We talk about our treatment, our recovery, whatever that means, our childhood, religious trauma, and a bunch of other things. Next week, Lauren and I will be back to share the results of our poll. How did your family view mental health growing up, and how does it affect you today? We originally said it was due on the 14th, but since we took a week off, you now have until the 21st, that's a Friday, to send us your answers. You can either record a voice message at speakpipe.com/picklesandvodka or just email us at picklesandvodkapodcast@gmail.com. Here is this week's episode with my friend Taylor, and we hope y'all enjoy. What's your middle name?
Marie.
Just go by Marie.
Okay, that's fine. We'll just do that.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's Marie.
you hate it.
Hey, what's up? When I was a kid, I hated that middle name.
I mean, Taylor's a pretty basic name. It's not exactly like...
I guess we're not going to use my last name.
No.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't, yeah.
You're going to say my name, and then they're going to like, beep, like every 2 seconds.
I know,
They're going to be like, who the fuck is this person? They're nobody, but like, why are they bleeping out their name? So... They're like, this is my friend Beep. Oh, fuck. I'm like, I guess
it's kind of funny at first, as long as it doesn't continue.
Yeah, I'll just be cautious. I'm not going to spill any of the top secret information.
No, this is about you.
Yeah.
And your mental health. The spotlight is on you. And you really have to get closer.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let me move this chair up.
Yeah, get comfortable.
Okay.
Bitch. Already off to a great start.
Yeah. Sitting in Mom's chair.
Mm-hmm. The one and only Ginger Lou.
Your mom?
Yeah.
That is so cute. My neighbor's name is Bobby Joe. And I'm like,
I love that we're not going to say any names.
Bobby Joe, Ginger Lou. That is so cute. I know. Bobby Joe, God. Ginger Lou. Okay, is this close enough?
So if you look at the screen, the bar should be right there. Like green. Like, this is good.
Okay.
And if it goes red, then you're too close to it.
Hey, guys. Just kidding. And like, if Lorenzo was here, he would be able to sit over there.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. He will be here eventually. Maybe not today.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be funny though if he just burst in the middle?
I would love that.
I would love that too.
Yeah.
You can only hope and pray and dream.
And miss and care.
Yes, and love.
And love. Yeah.
Love. We're talking about another fellow...
Are you recording already?
Oh, it's been recording.
Oh, okay.
Just to test the levels.
Yeah. Okay, so let me know whenever you want to begin.
What was that?
I think.
Oh no, I thought I heard a woman yelling. Not you.
I was like, is Lorenzo here? I was like, where is he?
His fake name can be Dolores.
Yeah. That is so good. That is so good.
Oh my fucking God. So normally we come up with a tagline that's related to the episode topic, but because we don't really have a topic today, I'm just going to say, hello, friends.
Hi, it's Taylor.
Wait.
Oh, wait, am I not saying my name? It's Dolores.
Oh, no, you were just saying hello to our friends.
Oh, hey, guys. How's everybody's day?
Jesus Christ. Yes.
Please don't say Lord.
Oh,
no,
my
I'm
God.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
This is Pickles and Vodka, the mental health podcast where Christina interviews her treatment friends.
Her dear friend.
My dear treatment friend.
Yeah.
No, you're more than just a treatment friend.
Now, yes.
No, we were literally just talking in my kitchen about friends that kind of come in and out of your life from treatment and how painful that can be if you this sounds bad, but care too much.
Yeah.
To the point where it detracts from your own
journey.
I wasn't going to say it, but you said it.
I said it. I was literally talking today because I'm in a step down program. And I was getting teary-eyed because I was like, I was so close with the people in the program that I was in. And now it's like, you don't see them because you're not held accountable.
Yeah.
And so you don't see them every single day. Yes. And so it's like that bittersweet feeling of like getting close to people, and then you go back to your work and your normal life, and then you're kind of away from that environment, and it kind of like, it sucks.
Well, yeah, like, so, yeah, I met Taylor. What?
It can be dark.
Oh, no, so dark. Especially, like, we talk a lot on the podcast about treatment friendships and how the reason they're so nice is because you immediately go deep. Like, you skip all the shallow stuff.
Yes.
And not real friendships, but like normie friendships aren't like that. You normally have to go through like the shallow end first.
Yeah, and then you guys will just sit on your phones and scroll.
So then, like, in treatment, when you go deep and then when you get out and you go shallow, it's like weird.
Yeah. It feels like you're not being your authentic self, even though it's like, you don't need to talk about this with everybody all the time. But it's therapeutic. I've never been through anything like that in my life.
Well, yeah, we'll tell your story eventually. But we usually start the show asking where you're at. So, like, what your week's been like. What is your mental state right now? So, Taylor, where you're at? Well, I can't even say it. Taylor, where are you at?
Oh, God. I feel like I'm doing so much better than I was like 4 months ago. This stuff has changed my life, but I feel really disconnected from the people that I work with and like the environment that I'm in right now, because it's very superficial. It's like, you can't really talk about deep stuff, and you can't always be, I don't know, there's so many things that I want to like get off my chest because I'm going through so many things in my life right now, and then I don't have you guys every day, right? And so it's like I'm just, trying to distract myself and try to be positive. But it's
You're really good at that.
I am when I'm around people. So it's like when I go to work, it does bring me life. But then at the same time, it's like, it's superficial.
What do you mean brings you life?
But like the feeling of being around people. It's like whenever I'm at home and I'm alone, like after I can like take this mask off and I can go home and lay on my heating pad and just like lay in my fucking bed. It's
the finer
like,
things of life.
The finer things. I'm like, I love being in my 30s and laying on my heating pad from Amazon.
Hell yeah.
It's very therapeutic. But whenever I'm around people, it makes me feel, because I'm such an extrovert, it brings me healing almost. Like when I'm alone and then like with my spouse, he's a gym rat. He goes and does his thing, and I come home and it's kind of like, okay, can we hang out? Like, no, I'm like, I always say this, like, can we talk? We need to talk really quick. I really need to talk to you. And he's like, no, I gotta go. Like, it's like this big standing joke thing every day. But I'm like, no, we need to talk.
That's ominous.
Yeah, well, like, it's nothing crazy, but it's like, I just want to like hang out with somebody.
Yeah.
I would say I'm doing a lot better than I was, but I'm lonely every day when I get home, because it's like, even though I'm around people at work, it's still that environment where it's like, they have no idea what's going on in my life. I don't want them to know. I don't want to share this stuff with them.
Right.
I just want to share it with like people that I love.
And
but it's
everyone on
like,
the internet that listens to Pickles and Vodka.
Yeah, I'm going through it. But I'm in a lot better place than I was 4 months ago. I can't really complain. I'm on this journey as like a 31-year-old about to be 32. And so it's wild. I'm glad I'm where I'm at, and I had to go through the things I had to go through to get to where I am right now. So it is what it is. But this week's been okay. It's only Tuesday.
I know, right? I was literally
Tuesday.
in my journal. I was like, this week has been so horrible. Like, my mood has been so low all week. It's like, it's just Monday.
Yeah, that's relatable. That's relatable.
Yeah, no, but I get it on the loneliness front. Like, I have lots of friends.
Yeah.
But most of them are long distance.
Yes.
And like, I love internet friends. I've always had internet friends. There's been times where I only had internet friends. And
like
they
Discord? Or how do you meet them?
Well,
Grindr?
No! I've never used Grindr in my life.
I haven't either. We wouldn't be the clientele.
I didn't want to assume.
Yeah.
Fuck, what was I talking about?
How you met your friends?
Oh yeah, I met like when I was 12, I was on like Lord of the Rings chat boards.
That is so cool and secretive. Your parents would have
we had parental controls.
That.
It was mostly just like online fandoms at first, and then the current one is like this underground like eating disorder community that I found like 6 years ago.
That's great.
And I've met a lot of them in person. Like, a lot of them are
That's
friends.
impressive to meet people in person after you meet them on the internet.
I mean, I don't know.
Sometimes you never meet anybody. Like your gaming friends.
It's harder to meet people in real life. I mean, not a hot take or anything. You gotta. It's almost like you have to go to rehab to make friends.
I can relate to that.
I love how serious you're. I was like joking, but you look so
No,
serious
I'm
right
so
now.
serious because I've lived here now for 2 years and I have no friends besides the people over the past 3 months that I've come into contact with rehab. Because it's like I've been able to like, I'm like, oh wait, people feel this way? That's so wild.
Don't look over there when you talk.
Oh, sorry. People feel this way. But it's crazy when you can find people that are going or work a similar job as you and then experience the same things because that's not really talked about in the community that I'm in. Should I say that what I do or not?
You can. It's all up to you. I've had a couple other guests who did what you do.
How did they know? Yeah, no, it's
well, how would you describe your job?
I work in IT and in a very militant environment. So, yeah, I've been in the military now for 5
I thought you were just gonna like leave
I don't know. I'm like, oh, well, I guess you could bleep it out. But yeah, that is such a big part of my identity.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the military. Like, it is. And I think you have a really, like, important perspective right now.
I guess.
I don't know.
Important to us.
We don't have to talk about it, but you've been unhappy.
I've been unhappy for a very long time.
Yeah.
My career's been, like, all over the place, and it's been so inconsistent, but yet constant. Like, I have to come to work. I have to show up. I have to wear the uniform. I have to kind of, like, conform to these standards. And that is so not who I am as a person. Like, I'm not this, like, you have to be this way. Like, I'm such a super, like, go with the flow, like, fun type of person. But over the past 5 years, I've really transformed into this smaller person because, you know, my rank, I'm a low ranking individual in the military. And so it's like, I don't have a voice.
You don't matter as much. Oh,
in the big scale of things, like, I don't feel like I do. And even for certain things that have happened over the past 2 years, I've voiced my opinions about certain things and then it went into this full thing and then kind of they backtracked on it. And I'm like, okay, so you guys don't care. And they're constantly preaching about like mental health and all this stuff. And then it just kind of doesn't come to fruition.
It's all talk.
Yeah, it's all talk. Yeah. So it makes you kind of second guess like who you are and what you stand for. And I'm like, this is not the life I want to live. You know, in the beginning when I came in, I was like, maybe I could do a full career. I was so gung-ho, you know, you get out of BMT with this like fresh mindset. And then next thing you know, you're like, I fucking hate it here. Help.
I can't judge because I am a military brat. My dad was in the Navy for 21 years. And also I almost joined the Air Force out of high school. I don't know if I've said that on the podcast, but I really wanted to be in the military because so many people I admired in my family were in the military.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot of military members on my dad's side.
Sorry. I'm not crying, guys.
No, I'll try not to talk while you're blowing your nose because then it would just be in the background.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Yeah.
You're a human being with allergies and
you're allergic to cats just like me.
Yeah, and there's a cat just prancing around.
Come here, baby. Okay. This is what happens when you have allergies, folks. Get tested.
I'll just cut all of this. Oh my god.
I'm so sorry.
Again, we just did an episode about disgust and we took a disgust quiz at the end. And one of the questions
asshole.
One of the questions was on a scale of 0 to 4, 0 being not disgusted at all, 4 being extremely disgusted. How do you react when someone with mucus blows their nose or clears their throat or something?
And throws it in their purse.
Oh, there's a trash can right there and here.
Yeah. Oh,
Bitch,
okay. That's great.
You're better than that.
Yeah. Let me take my anxiety meds now. No, I'm just kidding.
I have some.
Yeah, I do too. We can switch.
I mean, I guess I should take this segue to talk about where I've been at this past week.
Yes.
Because I smoked weed today.
Okay.
And yesterday. The reason being, it's been a really rough week. I already told all this to my therapist, and I hadn't really thought it was a stressful week until I said everything to her, and I was like, oh, holy shit, it has been a week.
Yeah.
One of my siblings is in jail for the second time for doing bad things.
Yeah.
And let's see, I'm having financial troubles. Speaking of the government, the student loan provider, like there was an executive order, I guess, that put a halt to all like income-based repayment plans.
Well, I don't even know what you mean. Like
so like
college?
Yeah. So I have a ton of student loans from that Christian college that I didn't even graduate from.
Yes.
And my loans have been deferred for like the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Because of COVID and like shit that's happened. But I can't defer it anymore. So normally I would just apply for an income-driven repayment plan, IDR.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's based on how much money you make. You can make a lower amount. But yeah, the government put a stop to that. So like I'm going to have to start paying $400 a month in May.
I thought you could pay as little as like $20.
With the IDR you can.
Oh, but with this they're taking it away.
Well, I don't know. It might change.
Oh my God.
This might be irrelevant soon.
Yeah.
But basically,
constantly changes.
That's happening, and and this is happening.
I'm like getting closer to sneeze into the thing, and then going away and talking over here. Yeah, that's horrible. I am so sorry.
And like my uncle died, and we're going to the funeral in Florida this week. Which is it's crazy because like the day before he died, we released an episode where we talked about him, or like I mentioned him.
Yeah.
He was the uncle who like would openly talk about his alcohol issues.
Yeah.
And he was sober for 2 years when he died. And so I'm really proud of him.
Yes.
And he was very supportive of my recovery. Like, you're going to cry.
No, I'm like, I promise it's the cat right now. But
sure.
Yeah, honestly, like.
No, you can cry.
Yeah.
I've had people cry on the podcast before. But yeah, when I made a GoFundMe in 2021 to go to residential treatment for my eating disorder.
Yeah.
And I met the goal within like 24 hours. It was my whole deductible.
Oh my God.
And my uncle was the very first one to donate. And so.
That is so special and sweet.
Yeah. He has 4 daughters who are a little older than us. And then a lot of my cousins are going to be there that I haven't seen in.
How do you feel about that? Like seeing everybody?
I mean, it'll be good to see everybody. The reason is not so good, obviously. I'm honestly worried about traveling there with my parents and 5 of my siblings.
You guys are going together?
Well, I'm going with my parents and 2 of my siblings. So it'll be
driving.
Yeah, so there'll be 5 of us in the same car, and then my other 2 sisters are driving separately.
How long? I mean, you could always switch cars maybe if you guys are driving at the same time.
I don't even know how long, dude. I'm not a driver, so I don't give a fuck. I just like barricade myself in the back.
Yeah, listen to your podcast.
No, my own podcast.
Yeah.
I've done that before. Well, it's like when you record a conversation with a friend and when you're feeling sad, it's sometimes nice to go back and listen to remind yourself like, oh, I have friends. Like,
yes, you do. You're a cool ass person.
It's fun. Yeah. It's fun having friends.
Yes, it is. It's necessary.
But yeah, it's been a rough week.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're going through that.
My coping mechanisms are getting better though.
Yeah.
Like I did slip up. I have an average of like slipping up every week, but it used to be every day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, no, you have to give yourself the credit for the wins. You know, that's a big thing that someone she's like my alcohol counselor, but she's been telling me, you know, you have to embrace the wins and like give yourself that credit. And it is so true because I don't really do that. So for you, that's a really big deal. Everything that you've been through, I mean, especially this week, that's a very challenging week. And it's only Tuesday.
It's only fucking like, Tuesday. Well,
yeah, that's a lot to go through.
And, well, at least I don't have a rat infestation.
Oh my God, don't even get me started. You know, someone, Gene Hackman, if you know who that is, he's like
is that Willy Wonka?
Like, I don't think that was. You have to look that up. But
that was Gene Wilder.
Okay, yes, I was like, Gene sounds familiar. I was like, but I don't remember him being that tall.
Gene,
he's like
an actor.
Yes, and he had Alzheimer's or dementia.
Oh,
so. My grandma was telling me this story on the phone because she was so concerned about my rat infestation. She was calling me. I guess his wife died and she was like in a separate room from him and they think he like starved to death or something.
What?
Because she like passed away and so he was just kind of aloof and not really
Were there rats?
So I guess they had rats at their home and she got, I think it's called Havitis or something like that because of getting some like contaminated with it. She died from that. And so now I've been freaking out and I'm like, oh my God, these people need to fucking come to my home now. I've already spent over $1,000 and where the hell are they? They're like, yeah, you have rat infestation. Okay, well, what are you guys going to do? Your pest control that I'm paying for.
Holy fuck. I love rats, don't get me wrong, like domesticated rats.
Yeah.
But
when they live in your house for free, it's a little different.
That's insane.
When they're eating your food that you pay, I bought pistachios, like a big bag.
No.
They got into it and I was like, okay, well, I was going to keep them because I'm so frugal. And I was like, Yeah, no, thank God I didn't. I could have had hepatitis right now. I could have it now. I don't know.
As she stares crazily across the microphone.
With a snot rag-ridden thing. Oh, gosh.
You know what? But we're here. We're talking.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's going to be fun, damn it.
It is. It is. I'm glad I'm here.
So now that we've established how we are.
I'm mad at Lorenzo, though. But, that is okay.
Yeah.
Beep.
Lorenzo is a future guest. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, he's a future guest and a ray of sunshine.
Yes.
It's all good, though. I'm really happy to be here with you.
But yeah, so what has brought you here to this day? Like, how do I know you? Let's start there.
So I started a program with you. I think, should I say the name of the program or no? So we started a program about 2 months ago. I think I've known you for 2 months.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, I started PHP at the end of January.
And I started December 9th.
So we only had like 1 week, 2 weeks
No.
in treatment together.
Really? It's so crazy. I guess we just got to know each other that much because of that environment.
And we hung out outside of, I almost said outside of work.
Yeah.
It was work.
It really was.
It was literally
game. Beep.
Oh my God.
When Rosa came, everything changed. No, I'm just kidding. That was our little, she was so precious, but that was
therapy
his dog.
She was not a therapy dog, dude. No, that other one was not a therapy dog.
I was like, is he gonna bite me? I'm just kidding. No, he was like on me and I'm like.
He was humping people.
Oh my God. This doesn't seem right. I don't like this.
It's part of the journey.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. I don't know if I was there for that.
You would know if you were. Therapy dog my ass.
Yeah.
But anyway, what led you to join the treatment program?
So before PHP, I think it's IOP, and that's
3 days a week.
No, right? I was in the one that you slept there. I was there for like
residential.
33 days. I was in residential.
Shit.
So I thought it was called
inpatient.
Yes. Yeah, so
IP.
I was there for 1 month. Is that what it's called?
Come on, you're in the military. You should know.
I don't know what they call it. Because
IP is inpatient. That's when they hold you overnight for like to get your body good. Residential is where you live there for like months.
Yeah.
And
thank God it was
go to therapy. Yeah. And then IOP is intensive outpatient. That's 3 days a week.
Yeah.
PHP, partial hospitalization program.
Yes.
Which is what we did.
Yes.
Is like a full-time job. It's 9 to 3, Monday through Friday.
Yeah. And thank God it was 9 to 3 and not like 7:30 to 4:30 because that would have been a very, very long day.
Yeah. You were there because, you had an accident or how did you hurt your foot?
So I hurt my foot because I didn't even hurt my foot. I have an extra bone in my foot. It's called an accessory navicular. And so basically it's an extra bone like right here.
Whoa.
And so that's like my surgery
She is
scar.
showing the scar, folks.
It looks great.
Oh my God, I want to touch it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ow! No.
Oh my God, fuck you.
No, it is sensitive, but it's okay. You can like.
I mean, I already did it.
Yeah, so I'm like, you don't want to do it anymore. But yeah, so I had that. I was in honor guard, and so we were standing all the time in these like shit shoes, and that's when I started noticing the pain. And I was like, oh, it's probably just from these shitty shoes. So I didn't think anything of it. And then I was like, after maybe like a month, no, something's wrong. So I went to the doctor. She told me my arch collapsed. She told me, you're going to get custom orthotics. You're going to go to physical therapy and do all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool. Which orthotics are just like the
inserts?
The inserts.
I have them in all my shoes.
Yes. Yeah. So they got me that. And then I go to physical therapy. The guy literally tells me like, oh, we're not going to get you the custom orthotics. He's like, I'm just going to send you a link on Amazon. He was
what?
I swear to God, I literally went to my car and cried because I was like, what the fuck? And yeah.
We live in a dystopia. Not even a dystopia because that implies that there's a utopia. Like
he's like, let me send you my link. You'll get 10% off the code. No, I'm just kidding. I was like,
oh my God. I would believe it though.
Yeah. I was like,
I would fucking believe it.
You're a physical therapist? Fuck you. In the military, I'm like, this is free for me. Why are you not doing this? He's like, the military spends way too much money on getting your foot scanned by an iPad. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know like you could go to a patient advocate or like medical rights because I didn't really go to the doctor that much. So I was like, okay. So I just go with the flow, kept going to physical therapy. I PCS, I come to, I go for my last base to Virginia.
Okay. And what year was that?
That was 2023 when I moved here in May.
Okay. So you've only been here for like a year and a half.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I come here, I get seen by my new PCM. She's great. She's like processing with everything or progressing. And so when I see her, she orders an MRI, which confirms everything that like, yeah, something's going on. But before that too, I was still in physical therapy. And then the doctor here told me like, oh, like you're walking fine. Like there's nothing wrong. And she was such a total bitch. I reported that lady.
Good.
She was awful. She tried to confront me at the front desk. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, no, I'm going to talk to my leadership. This is like ridiculous. And I was like, I can't believe, you know, the way you're treating me and whatever. So she's like, well, I gave you the referral for your foot provider. They were like, yeah, you need surgery. So I was like, okay. So I'm thinking surgery is going to get me back on my feet to running
Literally,
and to living
yeah.
my life. And get the surgery that didn't do anything but cause more pain and more issues. So I do not ever want to have surgery again.
Damn.
That's like where I'm at.
Well, you do have trust issues.
I do. And I've learned that over the past couple of months.
Yeah, good segue, bitch. So all this stuff with your foot was going on.
Yes.
And
extremely depressed.
what was happening in your personal life?
So I had gotten married in November of 2021. And when we got married, we had been separated by distance for like 2 years overall, maybe a little over that.
So you were dating long distance?
Yes.
Essentially?
Yes. And like in a new marriage, in any marriage, it's difficult, but in a new marriage, it's very difficult because you're still trying to figure that person out. I mean, we hadn't been dating very long. We got married super quick. And, you know, I really thought, this is my person and I still love this person and it's very complicated. So it's not to say that I don't, but it's just like, it has been such a twist on our marriage and caused so many issues, the distance and, you know, just stress from work and everything. So he left and I was alone, you know, dealing with this issue, going to the doctor all the time, moving to a new place, not having any friends.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot on me. I'm homesick. I missed my family.
Where are you from originally?
Texas.
Texas?
Yeah, San Antonio. San Antonio, Texas, baby.
I miss Texas sometimes.
I do too. It's like, you know, it has its issues, but I think overall there's a lot of really friendly people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something I miss. Yeah. East Coast over here. They want to consider them the South here, and I'm like, I get it because of the warp. I do too.
Because of Texas, though. We moved here like from Texas.
Yeah.
So like literally, I came to Virginia in 2017, and I was like, oh, this is the East Coast.
Yes, it's like the kind of like DC, New York vibes of people doing their own thing, and not like maybe if someone is stuck on the side of the road, people just are just driving by.
People drive like crazy here too,
and the speed limits are horrible.
Yeah,
I mean, come on. Give him a break. No,
anyway,
yeah.
So you were alone and everything was going down the toilet.
Yeah, I was depressed. I was isolated. I had no friends.
You had a rat infestation.
I didn't until a couple months ago.
Anyway, okay.
So my life was better in that respect because I didn't wake up every morning with fucking shit on the counters. But, you know, we moved here. We bought our first house together. And then he's here with me for 30 days and then leaves on sea duty for like 9 months. So I'm alone again.
Hi.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
How did you cope with all that stuff going on?
Drinking.
All right.
Drinking. You know, I was sober for 2 years.
I didn't know that.
Okay, so in 2020, COVID happened and stuff, and then I was at my first base. I was in the dorms for a little bit until I got into my house on base. And so I started getting fucked up when we were teleworking. So it was like easy to drink and like no one would know. And then on the weekends, like I literally bought a gaming computer so I could hang out with my Discord friends and have some type of social interaction.
Yeah, we all did that.
Yes.
It was, for a while it was kind of nice.
It was.
Everyone came together.
It was.
But yeah, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah, and it's now. Like, you know, some people you stay friends with, some people you don't. It was like my ex-boyfriend and his friends on Discord that we were all, I don't know, I used to have so much fun.
Things digging in your purse.
You want my anxiety meds, baby?
Maybe he does need them.
Yeah. What?
We've already established he has an eating disorder. He probably has anxiety too.
Oh,
if he's anything like me.
Daddy's sweet. And so, I was hanging out with people online. I was drinking, getting fucked up, like blackout drunk, and just like, you know, super lonely. But it was a way to escape. And like,
of course,
who doesn't like to have a drink? But then it goes too far. You're ashamed. You look at your Snapchat story the next day and you're like mortified because, like, you know, in the beginning of like your first couple of drinks, you're like, wow, I feel good about myself. I love myself today.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you know, you're sending horrible lewd photos to
Can't
people.
relate to that one. Disclaimer.
Oh my God. Yeah. Just
No
super
judgment.
cringe. Super cringe. So embarrassing.
I used to send people suicide threats. So.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. That's something I would do with my family. And they were very concerned, you know? And so I was like, I had gained a bunch of weight. I was like, you know, I don't want to like live like this. I need to change my life. So I don't know if anybody knows who Abraham Hicks is, but she's like a law of attraction type stuff, right? My mom's always sending me stuff about her.
Okay. You probably explained it to me before.
Yeah. And so I had listened to something on like depression, and I feel like it like rewired my brain in that time in my life. And so I was like, I don't want to drink anymore. I want to be sober for the rest of my life.
Damn.
Like I wanted to take these
right out of the gate.
Yeah. I was like so excited for this new chapter of my life. And I did it for a year. And then I started drinking again, and it was causing issues in my marriage. I mean, he was gone, he was deployed, and then, you know, I was just acting a fool. So that, and he's very straight edge.
Dude.
So he's like, not any time for that.
So
no cigarettes, nothing.
That's crazy because I was the guy that I moved to Virginia for. He was in the Army, Ruby's original dad. We still keep in touch. It was an amicable breakup.
Yeah.
But he was super straight edge. We had completely different schedules. And I would just drink, like, when he wasn't home. First, it was, like, the brief moments we were together, we would drink together as to connect, you know?
Yeah, it's nice in the beginning.
Exactly. And then it would be, okay, he's gone, so I might as well drink. And then it was like, oh, I'm hiding my drinking from him.
Yes.
And because he didn't understand, because he was straight edge.
To me, and I don't know if you felt the same way, but it's like, you've never been blackout drunk in your life? Like, that's weird to me.
My dad says he's never been drunk in his life.
That is so crazy
I don't know if I believe it.
Yeah. I'm like, how do people, like, never?
I don't understand.
I don't either.
Well, that's what makes me think
so normal.
That addiction as a genetic thing makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, some people do have it and some people don't. Like, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, my mom and I are very similar. We both have addictive personalities or whatever the fuck. My dad couldn't be more different.
Yeah, and opposites attract. So there you go.
I guess, yeah.
There you go.
Well, I tried being a straight edge person.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how you feel about that going forward in your life, but it's definitely been encouraging for me, even though we have our trials and tribulations in our own relationship, like his support for me going on this path now to get the help, because obviously I had a problem. You know, I was hiding it after a certain point. It's like, I would come home, I would be drinking, and then I would hide it in the fridge, and then I'd go in my art room, I'd be doing art or something, and he's like, are you drinking? Like, he would come to kiss me, and then he's like getting pissed off, and then it's starting this full-fledged argument, you know?
Damn.
And that's not the time for arguments.
What was your drink of choice?
Beer, IPAs.
Oh, yes, I loved IPAs.
Yes, we actually went to a sober bar with our group. And
should we tell that story briefly?
Oh my God, yeah. Which part? I'm like, you tell it.
The funny part.
Which part was
relapse? The part
when she took your book?
Well, the part where we relapsed and she took my book.
Oh my God. I wasn't fully paying attention, but I remember you kind of like elbowing me because I think she was getting upset that we were having mocktails.
Yeah.
Like, there was no alcohol in it.
It was your graduation day. And so I bought us non-alcoholic IPAs. And the lady sitting next to me was so freaked out. And she was like, you're relapsing. We're
like, we're at a sober bar.
And meanwhile, like, the counselor in front of her has a mocktail and she's not saying anything about that.
I don't get it either.
And then she started filming us.
Oh, I didn't know
or
that.
Something, or taking a picture.
Everybody was taking pictures at a certain point.
And I
didn't know she was.
I thought we were going to fight at one point.
Oh my God. Yeah, I could tell you were pissed. I've never seen you like that. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Listeners of the podcast, have I ever told a story about getting pissed? Like, the whole time I've done this.
Yeah.
Never. But I thought we were going to fight.
Ugh.
But then, at the end of the night, she was like, hey, your journey is your journey and my journey is my journey. And, you know, something trauma. And I was like, oh, I have a book about trauma. Do you want to borrow it? And then she took it.
And it's funny because you lent me that book.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I need to give this back to Chris because I want her to have her book, you know? And then the lady is like really interested. And she's like, what is this book? And then you're like talking about it. And then you like let her borrow it because you're so sweet. And I get it. Like, I've been there. But I was like, I was so mad that you let her have the book.
I'm also a people pleaser.
I know.
Which we also have in common. But, like, I didn't want her to be mad at me. And I was like, what if I triggered her?
No. And who cares? Who the fuck cares?
Well,
We're never going to probably see, you're never going to get that book back. You're never going to see that woman again.
I never finished it either.
Yeah. There's so much knowledge in that book. It was The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh, yeah. Did we not say what it is? That's rude of us.
I actually had rented it from the library, and there's a lot of knowledge in there, but it's such a long book and you have to be in the right mindset. And I was just like, it was a little overwhelming because it was so big. There's so much knowledge. And I was like, I don't know.
You have to read it in like small chunks.
Yeah.
I hate the word chunks.
Yeah.
Like you can't just go straight through it.
Yeah. No, it would be, I mean, I'm sure some people have, but for me, I couldn't. So I returned your book and then you returned it to, I guess its rightful owner. I don't know.
Speaking, it's rightful owner. Like it's the One Ring. Speaking of childhood trauma and such, what was your family like growing up?
I mean, growing up, I would say the first time I ever...
Wait, it's my mom.
Oh, okay.
She never calls, and when she does, I make her go on the podcast. Hi, Mom.
Hi, girl. What you doing?
I'm recording the podcast with my friend from treatment, and you're on speaker.
Well, hello, friend from treatment.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Ginger Lou.
Hi, Miss Ginger Lou.
No, I am the famous Ginger Lou.
I love it. I've heard much about you.
Well, y'all have a good recording session, and that's my amazing Christina. Just right, we're going on the trip. We're leaving Thursday.
Yes.
You're busy right to the end. I love that about you. Aww. Well, y'all have a good time. And
what are you doing right now?
Doing the dishes.
Oh, exciting. So you decided to call me while you were doing the dishes?
Yeah, I wanted to see, I'm trying to figure out tomorrow night who will be here for dinner. Andrew's riding his motorcycle in, and I think you're going to spend the night tomorrow night.
TBD, but probably.
Yes. We live in a TBD world.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Soft plans only.
Not committed at all. So, all right, well, I am a flexible mama. So, whatever you want to do.
That's what she said?
I love you. I love you both.
Aw, I love you, Miss Ginger Lou.
I love you, too.
You. All right, we'll talk to you later, darling.
All right, bye.
Bye.
She's so sweet. She sounds so young. She has a young voice.
68.
Damn, she does not sound 68. You sound great, Miss Ginger Lou. Did she listen to your podcast?
Not anymore.
Oh.
I mean, she'll listen to this episode if I tell her to. But in general, she's learned not to listen unless
it's like triggering for her?
So, just because of certain things I've said about the family and my childhood. And
yeah.
I don't want to censor myself on my own podcast. And she's like, I don't want to censor you if you're worried I'm listening.
Yeah.
Dang.
No, I feel that.
He's scratching up the chair that Taylor's sitting in.
Oh.
Okay, but back to your childhood.
Yeah, so childhood, I think the first time I ever really had like a drink, like I wasn't a big drinker in high school and when I was young.
Okay, that's basically what I was trying to ask.
Yeah, no, I was not a big drinker. I think when the first time I ever got like blackout drunk, like maybe like early 20s.
Okay,
I feel like
same.
Around my 21st birthday probably was when I like really, really experimented with it because I don't know. I didn't really grow up with it too much. I mean, we grew up really religious. It wasn't really like a big part of my life. And then, as I got older, it was kind of just accessible. I could go to the store and get it. My friends started drinking around that time. You go
accessibility
to bars.
Is the key word there.
Yes. It was probably my early 20s the first time that ever happened. And, as you get older, the hangovers get way worse and you're like, ugh, I do not miss those days. And I hope to not have them again.
How does your family feel about addiction and mental health in general? Did you talk about it growing up or did you see it?
No, it was not. I don't even know if that was a word back then, and that wasn't like forever ago, but I don't really feel like I heard mental health.
You're younger than me.
But I mean like a year, but I mean like I don't really remember like
it wasn't.
People talking about mental health and like all these different, I mean now I feel like there's so many labels that we put on ourselves and our addictions and stuff. And back then I was like, I have an uncle and he would literally be like in the Arizona sun have his like 24 pack of like Bud Light right in his car and like would be like drinking it, working on his car in my grandma's house and stuff and whatever, had come in like pissed himself and
Oh
like,
my God.
yeah, just belligerent and stuff. And, you know, it's not that I didn't notice something was weird. I don't know. I guess I didn't really think about it, or it wasn't really talked about. It wasn't something that people acknowledged.
Did he like try to hide it, or was it just that no one really cared? It was so commonplace.
I think, well, one, it's like he was able to handle it differently. Like, and to a certain point, he was a functioning alcoholic, right? Him and my uncle were both bachelors, lived together their whole life, you know, grew up in a really hard life. So he's my grandma's brother, and they're white. Okay. They're Norwegian and German.
Norwegian?
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
didn't see that coming.
Norwegian, German, Irish, and I think that's all.
I'm just trying to get a sense of the culture you grew up in.
So my mom, she's half Spanish. My dad's Mexican. And, you know, I feel like my family, the Spanish side is, I guess, kind of racist against Mexicans, because it's almost like this, I don't know, like we're better type thing, you know? And I don't really understand it, because growing up, like my mom's side would be like, you're not Mexican, you're Spanish. And I'm like,
damn.
And you know, my dad wasn't really always around, and my dad speaks Spanish. My grandfather does too, but they're a little bit different in the dialects. Like Mexicans have a different dialect than people from actually, you know, Spain.
Right.
And my grandpa did grow up from New Mexico, but it was just, I really don't know why they had this like air about them of like, you know, snotty, bratty type. You know, it was mainly one uncle that would say that, but it was like, when I grew up, that was a big thing. So I lived in Phoenix. Everybody's Mexican there or white. And so it was kind of, I remember people in school would be like, oh, like what are you or something? Because I'd get really dark in the summer. And I'd be like, oh, I'm Spanish. And then they'd be like, you're not Spanish, you're Mexican. And so then it was like this weird, like, where do I fit in? Or, like, I'm confused, because I don't speak Spanish. You know, I may look not fully white, but it's like, to each person, they're like, oh, you're a white girl, or oh, you look Mexican. So it's like I've never really had this really big attachment to my culture, because I didn't really grow up with my dad. He was always gone. But I mean, we go back to New Mexico and see his family if we did, and it's like, you know, real Mexicans. And so it was like a totally different vibe. But yeah, that is my heritage. That's part of who I am. But
it sounds like that was rough. Do you feel like you struggled with your identity / still struggle with your identity?
100%.
And I'm not just talking like race either. I'm talking just like as person. Yeah,
I've always been, I grew up as the oldest female. I have a younger brother and a younger sister, but it was that type of environment of like, you know, kind of almost being a parent.
Oh, I know.
You know?
I know.
Yeah, being a parent. And then it was like, you know, I have my siblings and I'm not their parent, and that caused issues in our relationships.
Thought you were acting like a parent?
Yeah, because it was kind of
that role.
Yes, yeah. It was like, you know, my mom is a very sweet, loving person, and my dad, like, they had more of those traditional parental roles, you know, of like mom's nurture and dad's like enforcer.
Yeah, the patriarchy.
Yes.
That's exactly how I grew up too.
Yeah, and you know, they're Catholic, and then also my dad was in the military. So it was like that double whammy.
So we both had that military and strict religion combo.
Yes,
and caretaking child.
Yes, yeah, and we're the oldest females. And I think...
God, my co-host Lauren refers to women as females all the time, and I always give her shit for it. And it's so funny that you're saying it now. It's a very military thing.
I mean, it's weird to me, because it's like... when there's the oldest male and the oldest female, like the older siblings always have something in common, I would say. But I feel like when you're like a female, there's just different expectations sometimes. Like, you know, it's like almost like...
in traditional religions also. And it's different cultures. Yeah, our backgrounds are very different, but our experiences are so similar, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah, it is a trip.
So yeah, how did religion play into all this with you and your mental health specifically?
I feel like it's caused so many issues in my life, in the idea that the guilt and the shame of feeling like you're doing something wrong, even though you're just kind of living life and exploring and learning yourself and figuring things out on your own. It's like in the Catholic religion, at least, it's like, this is a sin, this is a sin, this is a sin. And you need to confess, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. And there's all these different... You're supposed to live your life almost like a martyr. And it's like, I understand people suffer, but it's like, there's no difference in being happy or suffering. Like, at the end of the day, the goal is to be happy and live your life. Like, I would think that's what God would want, right? For people to have a good, healthy life. And I feel like when you're growing up in a very religious environment, it puts you in this box before you even really get to kind of explore the world and see, you know, what works for you. And it was confusing, I think, growing up. It was very confusing for me. So I just, as an adult, you know, I didn't have a bad childhood.
Yeah,
you know,
same. I mean,
I had, you know, we didn't grow up like the richest people, but we didn't grow up dirt poor.
You can have trauma in your childhood without having a quote unquote traumatic childhood.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yeah.
That's been my journey, because I didn't consider my experiences traumatic, because like I had my basic needs met, you know, and we were pretty tight knit and whatever, but
yeah, and you had a huge family.
Yeah.
It was only me, my mom, my sister, and brother for the most part. And then like, you know, I had my cousins and stuff for a while, but when we moved, it was just us. And then we moved over to Texas and we're with my other family members, but they were only 4. But
our experiences are similar anyway, is what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, they're the guilt and shame that you were just talking about, especially I relate to.
Yeah.
To this day, at 32, almost 33, I'm just like digging into this in therapy every week.
Yeah.
Like,
you're unlearning.
I'm still unlearning, and I don't think I'll ever stop. And it makes me so angry thinking that I have to go through all this work to undo something I didn't have a choice in.
Yeah.
And they're just like the people that did that are just living their lives.
Yes.
But also I don't see them as perpetrators necessarily. Like I love them.
Yes.
So it's a very complicated relationship.
It's like they did the best that they could do with what they knew. That was what they knew. And it's not like they wanted to inflict these things upon you, but it changed the journey, the trajectory of your life.
Exactly.
Yeah. For better, for worse, we'll never know.
Exactly.
Because we're here now, like, hanging out, and, like, you know, we're both, I would say, pretty cool people, but, and very understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think this has given me so much compassion for others.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're both very compassionate people.
Yes.
And very sensitive. And that's not always a bad thing.
No.
Like, I have come to see my sensitivity as a strength.
Yeah.
Like, in my journal the other day, I described it as, like, a bleeding heart. Like, I have a bleeding heart. I want to help everybody.
Same.
I care so deeply about, like, causes that are important to me, like injustices. And it's just, sometimes I wish I wasn't like this.
Yeah.
It would be a lot easier.
Yeah. No, I completely sympathize with that. And I relate because, you know, I want to help everybody and be everybody's cheerleader. But sometimes that can come to the own detriment of myself.
For us, it's hard to be selfish because I think being selfish I see as a sin still.
Yes.
But like literally, who else is going to give a shit about you? Or no one is going to give as much of a shit about you as you can.
Yeah. You have to take the time to learn yourself and to give yourself grace, because it's like you're doing it for everybody else. But it's like, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of others to the best of your ability.
Even the word grace is so like charged for me.
Yeah, it is, because it's weird. It's almost taboo. It's been like taboo for me to kind of take time to just kind of, you know, it's like sometimes I've seen myself as like a victim. Right. And it's like, am I though? And then it's like, you feel, I've felt fraudulent so many times in my life. Like, did this happen, or was I over dramatic, or because when you live in the same house with your siblings and your family members, every person has their own experience. Every kid has their different relationship with their parents. So they had different childhoods, even though you were living in the same home.
That makes me like, trip so hard.
Yes.
Because like, I was thinking about that the other day, how like, I'm writing a memoir and like I'm transcribing old journals, and now I'm wondering, I wonder what their perspective would have been on this. Like, what's their take on this situation?
Yeah.
And in some cases, I'll just never know, because not everyone cares to talk about it or can verbalize it, or, you know,
or saw it the same way. Like they might be like, really? You had an issue with that?
Well,
like,
also,
I don't remember it like that.
Everyone remembers different pieces.
Yes.
Like we did an episode about how your family viewed mental health a few weeks ago. And one of the things we talked about is that like the truth is so subjective in a family unit, because everyone has a different piece. And you never know what is right, because it just depends on who you get your information from.
Sorry.
It's fine. Are you hungry?
No. That was like...
We can have a little Siggy break soon.
Yeah, no, totally. You just let me know when you're ready.
I want to wrap up this piece on religion, though, and childhood. Yeah. So did you feel like you struggled to fit in that religious environment, or...
I did, because I feel like growing up, I really was like an outgoing person. It's like I wanted this attention that I feel like sometimes maybe I didn't get. And it was like, I heard the word like negative attention, right? That was a thing I heard growing up. And
we also talked about that on the podcast, how attention is seen as such a dirty word.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like a shameful thing almost. And it's like, what the heck? Like, kids need attention. They're
Literally,
fucking kids.
Even plants need attention to survive. Think of yourself as a plant.
Yeah.
Like, literally, we all need attention. It's not bad. It doesn't make us a bad person for wanting attention.
Yes. And I think, too, it's like sometimes each child needs attention in a different way. It looks different.
Every child needs different kinds of attention.
Yes. And so for me, because my mom, you know, we had a conversation about it, and she's like, you know, you were so loved, and I was with you a lot, or this or that. And I'm like, I watched something the other day, and it was talking about, I think it was Theo Vaughn, and he was saying, if I just had someone to just sit with me and kind of like be there and talk to me, or, you know, I don't. Theo Vaughn? He's like a podcaster, comedian person. I'll have to show you him later, but I don't know if you'd like him or not. He's pretty goofy, but he's also very like a sensitive person, and he's very compassionate. You might like him. It was interesting hearing it from a man to say that and kind of be vulnerable like that and like get emotional about it, because it just broke my heart, because I was thinking about my own self and thinking, yeah, if I just had someone to kind of listen to me.
Yeah.
Maybe
like ask me how I want to be loved, not just give me what your definition of love is.
Yes.
To you.
Yeah. Because like we were saying, each child needs something maybe a little different.
It's been really helpful for me to view myself as a child now, like that I have to take care of.
Totally.
Well, it's like literally, I was telling my therapist like today, why don't I put as much energy into like pursuing my dreams of like moving out and, you know, making money, like as I do like getting high and binging and purging, like.
Yes.
But the thing is, to do those things requires many steps. And I don't know the steps because no one really taught me the steps.
Yeah.
And I had to figure out everything on my own as the oldest.
Yeah.
And like I didn't have any older siblings or friends even to tell me like, this is what's up. And so now I almost want people to hold my hand through those steps.
Yeah.
To show me the way. Like I'm tired of figuring everything out on my own. It's so exhausting.
Yeah. It's like you just want that support, like someone to kind of be there.
But also you have to be there for yourself. Like, also
your inner child.
Yeah, it's like to become independent you have to be dependent first.
Yes.
Like, and that's really, I'm still unpacking that. Like I don't really know what that means. Obviously nothing's black and white.
You said to be independent you have to be dependent
well
first?
Like a baby is dependent on their parents. Like I have to ask for help.
Yes.
And get guidance before I can be fully independent. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Not being like codependent or anything.
No. I'm like, you know, Miss Betsy, she would not be okay with
Taylor's nickname in treatment.
I was always wearing that crown.
What was it?
Was it Miss Codependent?
Miss Codependent.
Something like that.
The queen of codependency.
Yeah, we had this little crown that I made because Miss Betsy wanted me to make it. And so it was the codependency crown. So if someone were to say something that were to deem the codependent title, they would have to wear it in class. And I wore that many a time. And it was like a little crown of shame. I'm like, I feel like I'm back to my childhood. So thank you for this. But I mean, honestly, it was kind of a way to see in that moment, like, oh yeah, why did I say that? Or I see why I said that, but yeah, I shouldn't have to feel that way.
She picked on you a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
We love you, Miss Betsy.
I do love Miss Betsy. I miss her.
I gave out the podcast to a few people before I left.
Oh, that's great.
So like, who knows who's listening?
Yeah, no, I honestly, Miss Betsy, beep. No, I'm just kidding. Miss Betsy was the person in that program that was life-changing for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, the amount of times that she was there for me, I would sit and just go to her office and cry. And, you know, she was the counselor that led the sessions for the first over a month for me. She was a really integral part of my journey on this sobriety stuff. So I really appreciate her. You know, it's like no one's perfect, but she really, really was a big piece of me learning all this stuff. And I don't know, she's like my person over there. So I miss her. If you are listening to this, I miss you, Miss Betsy. So I need to go back. I want to go back and see them at some point.
I need to drop off art.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Larissa, Josh is for sure listening.
I love Josh. He's not even a therapist, and he was someone that I would go and talk to and just vent to.
Josh
and he was great.
The intake coordinator. He did my assessment.
Yeah. But he's brilliant.
On Substack this past week.
I love that. That makes me so happy. He's a special man, and you know, he's just full of smiles and full of wisdom.
Everyone there is.
Yeah. Not Nathan. No, I'm just kidding, Nathan.
He was a patient.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about Nathan, the director. And I'm totally kidding. I love
I'll bleep
Nathan
that
too. I knew everybody there in the beginning because it was a very small staff initially. No, everybody there is great. That's a place, because the other place that I went to, you know, there were a lot of people that were not there for the right reasons. Maybe there for a paycheck.
Oh, no. Staff, you mean?
Yeah,
Because there's
at the
definitely
last
patients
place.
that are not there because they want to be.
No, for sure. And I mean, that's to be expected in these types of programs. I
Right.
get it. Like, sometimes people have situations where this helps them with whatever they're going through.
Also, you need to focus on yourself, like we said at the very beginning.
You're going to get out of it what you put into it.
Yes.
They said that all the time. And I was like, as you saw people trickle in, I was like, yeah, totally.
I started saying that towards the end. At first it was ironic, and then like I really meant it.
Yeah, it's a lot. But some people do want to be, like, we wanted to be there. And it's like me, you, Lorenzo, it's like we would be talking and people would just be silent or have their ear pods in.
Yeah,
and
after you guys left, I was like the only one talking for a while.
I think that's great though, because I can overtalk and overshare, and it's like sometimes you need that space and you need to be that person. And if they're not going to take up that space and get their stuff out, then use it to your advantage and take advantage of what you can, because these programs aren't forever. You know, you can always go back.
Yeah, you can always go back, and you can also leave if it's not helping you. We had
so many people leave. Yeah.
But you know, everyone's on their own path.
Yeah, totally.
Myself. Do you want to take a little break?
Let's do it.
When we come back, we'll talk about the present and the future.
Let's do it.
And other fun stuff.
I thought I was doing it again.
No. So we're back from our little break.
Hi.
When we left, we were talking about our past, growing up religious and all that shit.
Yes.
Do you want to talk more about the program we were in and like what it changed for you? Like what your experience was? Because I'm sure I'll talk about my experiences more on the podcast in the future, but I'm really curious to hear like what you took from it.
Yeah, so I did the inpatient where the residential. And so that for me was just the beginning. I did 2 different stays at 2 different places, and then I came to the program that we were in. And honestly, the program that we were in was so life-changing for me, and that was where I feel like I did the most growth, because I feel like the people there weren't there just for a paycheck, like they actually cared.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, Miss Betsy was like my saving grace there, and she taught me so much and was really patient and just gave us the space to be able to talk through stuff and really open up. Towards the end, we had someone else that came in that had a really different style. So that was really difficult for me at first, but he definitely toned it down a bit and kind of like wasn't as like
abrasive.
That's
Everyone
a perfect
there was
word.
Very receptive to feedback.
Yeah.
It's a new program.
Yes.
And like, I kind of like that about it because it's kind of a blank slate. Like they're still figuring stuff out, which, you know, has its downsides. There were times both of us wanted to quit.
Yeah, that first week when that person came, I was like so overwhelmed. I was like crying and like going and talking to Miss Betsy. I was like, I can't do this.
You were overstimulated.
Totally. Yeah. Because we didn't even get the space to speak.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're just hearing this person kind of push this rhetoric down our throats. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not an all or nothing person and I am very overwhelmed.
Well, and my biggest complaint with that was the forced AA meetings.
Yes.
Every Thursday we had to go to an AA meeting.
Yeah.
And just talk about
at the end of the day too.
Yeah, at the
very
end of the day when everyone's
really
tired
hard and fed up. Just want to go home.
Ugh.
And then we'd have to sit there and listen to people drone on. And my experience back in the inpatient, we did a Monday through Thursday at the end of the day too. And that was really difficult. And it was with a group of people, the same people that pretty much came every week. And I couldn't relate. And so I feel like when I came here and then we would do it every Thursday, it was still kind of like, I'm not relating to these people until I met 2 women that came in and were really, I was like, okay, maybe I could do the AA thing. And then I kind of hopped on the train for a bit. And now where I'm at, I'm not going actively anymore. And I don't feel like, I don't know if that's my group, you know, it's not my favorite.
That's the thing. I have nothing against it.
Yeah.
For other people, if it helps you. But
yeah.
To me, it feels like church.
Yeah. And people get very behind it, which is great. It's better to be addicted to that than addicted to a substance. But it's like, that becomes like their religion.
No, literally. We've talked about this on the podcast a lot.
Yeah. And it can be a bit much.
It is a religion.
Yeah. But when people say it's like a cult, I'm like, I can totally see that because people go every day for like 30 years. And I'm like, to me, it's like, okay, like
at that point, you're just like
checking out,
ingratiating yourself into your addiction identity.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
totally.
I just say as I have a mental health podcast.
No, but I mean, honestly, it's different. They're very surrounded by like God, and I know not everybody agrees with that or feels that way, and so I think it can be a little bit much. And for some people that have gone through like a lot of religious stuff growing up, it was kind of like, I don't know, this is kind of putting a bitter taste in my mouth. You know, it wasn't really.
You either love the religious aspect or you like shy away from it.
Yes, yeah. For me, it was a bit much.
Yeah,
I couldn't really get behind it, and then it was funny because one of the ladies every day she would send me like these like books of like this inspirational stuff that this woman would write every day.
Is this a fellow patient?
No, she was an AA member.
Okay.
Yeah, that came. And then...
Oh, at your inpatient?
No. Here, or at ours.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, okay, cool. And then next thing I knew, she like stopped sending me the messages and I just kind of fell off. And I was like, yeah, I don't really care. So I was like, whatever. It didn't work out for me. She was not my sponsor. I don't know if she kind of was trying to be, but I didn't want her to be. And she was just sending me this stuff every day. And I would typically like respond and be like, thank you so much for sending me this. Like, I really appreciate it and stuff. And honestly, the woman that was writing it was very passionate and had a lot of words of wisdom. But sometimes it'd be like, okay, like, oh my gosh, every fucking day. Yeah. It was a bit much to see that every day.
My roommate that I live with now is an avid AAer. I have a bunch of copies of like AA literature in my living room.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it saved her life. I mean, she's been sober since literally the year I was born. So,
oh, wow.
More power to her,
Yeah, if it works for you, it works for you. But for me, it was not the path that I see myself. Because even now, to put myself in that box and kind of say, I'm never going to drink again. I've done that 2 separate times.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out, obviously. And so it's so much pressure to kind of put on yourself. And then to surround yourself with people where that really is kind of like their identity.
Yeah.
It's like the sober lifestyle. And like, I don't know if I'm always going to be sober for the rest of my life.
Well, and what does sober even mean? Again, it's a very black and white thing. That's why I'm so into harm reduction. That's why I really pushed harm reduction when I was in the program, because one instructor was blatantly against it.
Yes.
But most of them were genuinely not informed.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because it's more realistic and it like puts the person in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Like we're saying about how kids need different types of attention, like addicts need different kinds of treatment.
Yes.
And different kinds of sobriety. Like, I don't like using the word recovery. Generally, I don't like using the word sobriety because it's so black and white. And it has a lot of connotations.
Yeah, and everybody's different. So what works for one person isn't going to work for everybody else.
So what works for you these days?
I feel like, so I'm in like a step down program now. So I'm doing that. I literally just started this morning and it's once a week.
So you're still doing your job?
I'm still doing my job. I'm still going into work. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I still have to show up. And I hate that piece of my life right now because it's just like, I don't feel connected and I'm just kind of like, sometimes feel aloof. I'm very anxious there. And so it's different, but I'm going to work and then I do this every Tuesday and then I still see my alcohol counselor once a week. And then I see my like mental health counselor person at like every other week, like bi-weekly. And so I'm getting a lot of people's input almost into my life, which is fine, but it can be a little overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to ask if it was helping or just adding to the anxiety.
I think it's helping because it's like I still need to get this stuff out. Like I'm still processing everything, but at the same time, it's kind of, I don't know. It's like I just want to be near my family, or it's like I just want to talk to my friends, right? Yeah. It's like I want to have, I'm lonely and I'm isolated still. And it's like going back, I made so much progress, right? From where I was months ago. And then it's kind of going back into that exact environment again. And then I don't want to say going backwards, but almost kind of feeling like that. Like I'm going backwards and I'm still not where I want to be.
Well, I think, and Lauren, if she were here, would agree with me that there's only so much that treatment can do.
Yeah.
It can help stabilize you. It can give you like the tools you need. But at the end of the day, like addiction is the only way to cure depression.
Yeah.
Or addiction. Wait.
I was like, I don't agree with that. I was like, whoa.
Connection.
Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ. Connection is the only antidote for addiction.
Yes.
Like that Rat City thing.
I was just going to say that.
Everyone's probably heard about a million times.
You know, I'd never heard of that until I came to this our program, and when they were talking about that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense."
Can you summarize it then for the two people that haven't heard about it?
Yes, yeah. Really so quick. Essentially, they did an experiment where they put a rat in an isolated environment. There was only water, and I think it was morphine. And so they did all these tests where the rats could literally go and tap like themselves on like an electric pad to get to the morphine, and they would choose that because they had nothing better to do. They were like bored and like going crazy, and they didn't have anything going on, right?
They had water that was plain, and then they had water that had like drugs in it.
Yes.
And they would always go for the water with the drugs.
Yes. And then they were like, okay, let's change their environment, put them around other rats and toys and like food and life,
Enrich the environment.
Yes. And then the rats were hardly going to the morphine, if ever, because they were fulfilled, I guess. You know, they were having, you know, relations and
sex.
Just having, they were having sex. They were having entanglements.
Entanglements.
So they were having so much fun, and it's like
the rats in your house are having.
Oh my god, yeah, no, these rats are very entangled. There's shit everywhere, so they are living their best life, and I want to give that to them. You know?
Do you?
No, I want them out and to find a new home in my neighbor's house.
We are the rats, essentially, and we need connection. And so, you're doing all this treatment, and that's amazing, and you're doing so much work. But also, at the end of the day, you need to be with people that see you and love you, where you feel safe.
Yes, like I still have like suicidal ideations and moments of like just extreme depression where it's still hard for me to get out of bed, or it's still hard for me to function right just as an adult.
Yeah.
And it's like people might look at me and be like, "What? Like you're so social." And I'm like, and I was telling my counselor, I'm like, I thrive off of people, like their energy and like talking to others. It brings life for me. And so it's really difficult for me to come to work sometimes and then put on this mask and then try to act one way, and then I go home and it's right back to, I'm in my car for over an hour to get home, and then I'm sitting in traffic and I'm just kind of like chain smoking, my shoulders are up here, my teeth are clenched, and then I'm like having a moment of clarity and I'm like, breathe, dude, did you even breathe in the last like minute? And
I literally have that moment several times a day.
Yes, and I hate it, and I hate that I do that to myself, but it's something that I've done for so long now. I'm so accustomed to it, and so it's just like I'm trying to be in the present moment and like
how does
come
one
back.
Even I've been trying to figure that out, because I feel like I'm always waiting for the next bad thing to happen, which A, gives me no control, and B, I'm always anxious.
Yes.
And so
it's like you're fantasizing.
I'm always worried about something
that
has happened or could happen. I can't live in the present. Like, I'm always just worried about something, and it sucks and it's exhausting. Like, there was another patient, Brian, who was meditating all the time. Like, I'm talking hours at a time. He's crazy. That dude is insane.
He was levitating in class.
Right? No, but for real, he had some very wise things to say. I was always in awe of what he said, like what he contributed. But apparently it really helped him to like be present more.
Yes.
And
it's changed his life.
And
I'm like, I want to be like this guru. But
that's, I don't know if
he's done a lot of work.
Is for everyone. Yeah, he has done a lot of work.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I don't know if it's for everybody.
But there's also so many different kinds.
Yes.
Like for me, like before I met up with you at my place, I was at on the water, like I biked and I journaled, and it was just silent and for like 30 minutes. And that's meditating to me, just like thinking without any external things, like no headphones, no phone.
Yeah. Being outside is so crucial for your mental health.
Yeah, no, and it helps with being present, because I'll write about things that are happening around me.
Yeah,
like I was writing about like the shipyard and the birds. Yeah, and like,
did you go to the pagoda?
No, I went further than that.
Oh my gosh,
I went to like near the shipyard, like where the stadium is.
Oh wow, that's a good bike ride.
It's a really cool spot.
It's so cute over here in this area. I love it, and it's just gorgeous. I mean, the trees and the houses. I mean, there's so much beauty.
I barely have to drive my car anywhere. Like, if I have to live in this area, I couldn't be happier with where I'm at.
And I'm happy that I'm only like 8 minutes from you, because it just makes it so convenient.
Your house is so fucking cute. We had an art night. And me and Taylor and Lorenzo, our other friend who's going to be on the podcast.
Yes.
We had an art night at your house, and it was so lovely.
Thank you.
I feel like our styles are so similar.
Yes.
We have very similar, like we care about resalvaging things and DIY and all this stuff.
Yeah, and it's amazing to find someone else who can appreciate your style for what it is.
Yes, because so many people just like don't appreciate it,
or don't say anything. You're just like, damn.
I'm not gonna lie, it hurts.
Yes,
it's personal.
Yes,
but most people just don't even notice.
Yeah, and it's so weird because it's like you are such a creative person, but
so are you.
Yes, and it's like, but the way that we express ourselves, not only through art, but also through like the style, the way you create your space. I love that because, you know, it's so easy to go to Walmart, Target, Ross, and like buy really basic stuff. And it's like, I feel like nowadays it's become such, like the style is everything gray. And I'm like, I don't know when that, because it used to be like beige or like that maroon color or navy blue. And like now it's like pops of color and antiques and things that like, I just love it. I love style. I love decor. I love architectural digest.
I love style of decor.
Yes. Oh my. Yes. Style of decor, man.
That's the name of the episode. Style of decor.
Wait, what is it?
I was joking that's going to be the name.
I was
of
like,
the
is that
episode.
A magazine? I was like, I don't even know.
No, I was joking that the episode, the title of the podcast episode would be Style of Decor.
Of Addiction.
They're
like, wow, these people really are creative. Yeah.
Do you have anything else we didn't cover? I feel like we skipped a lot. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I feel like, you know, it's a lifelong journey. It never really ends. Like, I can't guarantee I'm going to be sober in a year from now. You know, I really don't know, because it's like whenever I move back to where I'm from in Texas, it's like I'm going to be surrounded by my family. And it's not to say every time I've been with them, I've gotten blackout drunk. Like I've had moments of I could go out and drink and I was okay. But a lot of times that's where it leads, because I don't really know when to stop. Right.
And you think you're okay, so you do it again. And then you think you're okay and you do get like, and then tolerance builds.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah. And it causes so many issues in my life. Like it's caused issues in my relationships, in my own relationship with myself, and my relationship with my family and my romantic partners. And so I really want to make this a lifestyle. Yeah. I don't want to go back to where I was before. It didn't, honestly, every time I think about it, I'm like, what real good has come from that? Really nothing. There's not one time that I can look back and be like, there's so many times that I paid money to go to like a concert or something and I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like one of my favorite artists, like I was blackout drunk, and
so many
what a shame.
You've paid, and
yes,
like
acted a
dollars
fool.
You've spent on shots.
We don't even remember dancing at Barbarella's.
No.
There's so many times I do not remember dancing. I just have pictures to show that I was there.
I have so many pictures of me like holding a red plastic cup at Barbarella's. Like,
oh my God.
If you're from Austin, Texas, you know.
Yes.
Shout out Barbarella's.
Yes, and I love Barbarella's, and it's fun, and it's like there are experiences in life where that's fine. Like you want to do your thing, go for it, but at the same time, it's like you don't need a substance to have a good time, and that's why like the art night we had.
Yeah.
We didn't need it. We had so much fun just like chatting. Yeah.
We were laughing so hard. But like I think that's easier for us to say because we are in our 30s, and other people who are listening, like my co-host is in her 40s and she's probably laughing at me right now, like, you babies, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
But like it is different. Like
comes with time.
I think I had to go through that to get to where I am now. Obviously, like I don't really have regrets because like I wouldn't be the person I am now if I hadn't gone through that. I feel like I had to get it out of my system, and / am still getting it out of my system. And I think that's fucking normal. Like everyone is doing life for the first time. As cheesy as it sounds.
No, I agree with you, but it goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's like, it's normal to us, but there are some people that are like, really? Like, you know, it's almost this like level of judgment. And I'm like, okay, like I think it's weird that you've never been fucked up ever in your life. I think that's really fucking weird. But some people don't feel that need, or they don't have that desire.
It's all relative.
Yeah,
like,
it just depends on the person.
Even like the counselors at the treatment center we went to, when I said I was addicted to Benadryl, they were all really surprised. Like, really?
Yeah, because I would never think.
Exactly. No one really thinks about that. And like, you have experiences that I am like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like you got married? Really?
I know. Like, I know.
It's all relative.
Yeah, it is. And it does shape you into who you are. And it gives you that area to be able to be compassionate towards others and to really be accepting. Like, I feel like I'm a very accepting person, and so are you, because whenever I hear people and they're like going off on, say, like oh, like, you know, they hate themselves or this or that. And I feel for them and I have this desire to help them, right?
But we need to help ourselves first.
Yes.
And that sucks to admit.
Yes.
I don't believe that we can't love anyone until we love ourselves.
I agree with
bullshit.
that. Yeah. Yeah, because we have such big hearts.
Yeah, and people have
but it's like you didn't even take care of yourself.
Yeah. Mic drop.
It's wild. I feel like I've made so much progress though, like the most progress I've ever made in my life over the past couple of months because of treatment. And it's like I was at a place in my life where I was ready to receive that treatment and I wanted to make changes because I was so desperate to change my life. And I've been given so many tools, so many fucking papers. I have so many printouts. I have like a thing like this. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't think I'll ever throw them away. I don't know. It's like, will I ever go through them? I don't know. But, you know, there's a time and a place and I don't want to throw them away. But there's so much knowledge there. Yeah. It's like, this is the answer to have a good life.
I recycle them for the podcast. Like, I'll go through and I'll see something. I'll be like, oh, I could talk about that. And it's the same.
Brilliant.
Like, even obviously not everyone has a podcast, but like you can.
That's brilliant.
You can be like, oh, this was cool. Let me talk to a friend about this. I think it's relevant to their situation. Or like, oh, do you remember this? Like, what do you think about it now? How's your views changed? And it's just like really, you could journal about it. Good journaling prompts. If you ever need a prompt, just go pick out a handout at random.
Yes. You know, that's something I've been doing at work because I can't have my phone in the place that I work. And so I have been journaling at work and I'll rip it out and then put it in my pocket because I don't want people to read it. Yes. But I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like me just trying to get my anxieties out on the page because I'm such an anxious person. And I'm just like, I need some type of outlet and I can't go and sit and confess my whole life story to my coworker. So it's like, let me just get some shit out on this paper and then shove it in my pocket.
You know what that sounds like? A healthy coping mechanism.
Yes. You know, I've always been so jealous of people when they've journaled because I've never been able to keep up with it my entire life. Like maybe I've done it here and there and I've had so many cute journals. But being in therapy these past couple of months has really, really...
These are all my journals.
Oh my God. That's amazing because it's for your memoir to document and have that stuff to pull back from.
I recently made
that's
them digital.
Impressive.
I have spent months just putting them all on the computer.
Like hand typing?
Yeah.
You know what you could do too, which I don't know how you write, but I was going to say you can take a picture and then you can copy and paste and then upload it. Yeah, you can take a picture and then you can scan it on your iPhone.
Wait.
I'll show you right now.
Oh my God, what?
You'll take a picture like this.
Yeah.
And then you click that copy all. And then you
oh my God. See, it doesn't pick up everything.
Yeah, it doesn't pick up everything. But that could help you so it's less typing.
Dude, thank you. I feel like it's a life hack.
Total life hack. In our 30s, let's do less work than we have to.
Amen.
I'm all for less work.
This has been great.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I wish Lorenzo was here with us, but you know.
Next time.
Yeah. That's going to be a wild one. He's awesome. So
yeah, thank you for coming on and sharing your story.
Yes.
We'll hang out at yours next time.
I can't wait. Another art night.
Yes.
Sober art night. Do it with your friends. Like you don't need a lot of stuff.
Right now.
You know, these were like the devil horns, you know, growing up.
Wait, let's take a picture of us just doing this. Okay.
Why does it look like I have like a goy?
Wait, we can take a better one with my phone.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Oh my God. Ew. All right, I'm going to stop it now. Oh, but yeah,
good night.
Good night. We love you all and
have a good rest of your week.
All right, anyway, bye y'all.
Bye.
If you like what you heard, tell a friend about the podcast. You can direct them to picklesandvodka.substack.com, where you can find our entire back catalog and links to all our social media. We love hearing from our listeners, so send us a voice message at speakpipe.com/picklesandvodka or DM us at Pickles and Vodka Podcast on Instagram. My personal account is at XtinaJumper and Lauren is at Lauren3_AFH. We'll see you next week.